Hello guys, my name is Khan, and in today's video I will show you guys that how you can do data multiplication with the help of VBA. So I have created this hypothetical data set which is named as data table manipulation. So I will open it up. So first I will try to describe what I want to do with the help of VBA. And actually this is something that will be very useful because most of the time you will be doing something very similar to what I will be showing to you guys now. So I have two sheets, policy data and unit prices. So I'm assuming that there are some policies that I have. This is a very large data set. I about have 100,000 rows. Each row is representing some policy, and within the policy we have invested in some funds. So and we have about kind of 20 funds you can see here. And for each fund in my next sheet, for each fund I have the price. And actually what I want to do is that I want to know what's the total value of my policy value. So as you can see, the policy value will be the multiplication between units of fund into the prices of fund. So one of the way is to use the sum product function, which is by applying directly onto your sheet. So first I will show you how you can apply sum product. But the important thing to know here is that we are dealing with arrays. So the application of this formula will be a bit different. So I will be writing down equal to sum product. So this is the formula that I will be using. So first I will select my array, which is here. So I will select it till the last comma, and then I will be pressing transpose because the unit prices are in a column form. So I will be writing transpose, and then I will be going to unit prices sheet. Then I will be selecting. So the important thing to note here is that when I selected unit prices, here instead of a range like this, B2 is U2, I'm just getting unit price. I'm getting this thing because I have given a range name as unit prices. I will show you how you can give a range name a bit in a few minutes. So I will click finish it, and then the second. But before pressing enter, this time I will not press enter because I'm dealing with arrays. I will be pressing Control Shift and enter. And now if I go to that cell, you can see that my formula is appearing in these curly brackets. It means that I have applied array formula. So now I can drag, if I can apply this formula to the other cells too. So this is the one of the example you can do, but what I will be doing, I will not be using this formula. I will try to show how you can do this thing through VBA. So first what I will do is to go to developer. I will go to Visual Basic, and in the Visual Basic the first thing I will be doing is to add a module. So I will be saying insert module, and in the module I will be starting with the first option that I discussed in my previous video. Is the option is explicit, which means that whatever variable I will use, I will first define it, otherwise VBA will give me an error. So option explicit, and now I will start writing my sub. So another thing to note here is instead of writing sub and then I start writing my macro, I will not this time write sub, I will also write public sub, and I will tell you what does it mean by public sub. So the public sub, so here you can see that I have a module 1. If you are made the sub as a public sub, that sub will be accessible to any module. So suppose if you are inserted 2 or 3 more modules, so if your macro is public, you can call that macro in other modules too. So you don't have to create your macro again in other modules. So you can use the public sub in the other modules too. So this is the significance of using public. And I will be calling my macro suppose updated You can name it whatever you want. Policy prices. Enter. And now I will start writing my macro. So the first thing is that within this macro, another thing that I will try to teach you guys, that suppose if you want to know that how much time your macro is taking to run, how you can do that. So in order to do that, before doing that, in order to measure that how much time it's taking, I'll be saying dim, then I will say t. So I'm creating a variable as t as double, so double. So and then I'm saying t is equal to timer. So the timer is actually, this thing is actually a syntax which allows you to capture the current time. So suppose first I want to know that how much time it's taking, and so let's see if I create a message box. So I'm just first creating this option, message box, and then I'm saying total time is total running time of macro is, and then I'll be saying, and then I'll be using a function round, so because I want to round the time, and then I'll be saying timer. So timer here will again capture the actual time minus the t time which is at the start of the macro, and then I will be saying comma 2. So I want to see the time. Now let's see if I run this macro, let's see what I get. So you can see it's giving us 0 because I haven't wrote down anything, and the macro is running very quickly. Okay, so now I will start writing my actual code that I want to write to populate this policy value. So in order to do that, I will be using some, because as I've shown you that my data is very big, it's about 100,000 rows. So in order to make sure that my code run in an efficient way, I will be first doing some systematic options so that my code run efficiently. In order to do that, I will be writing application. You can use these kind of functions kind of syntax for your other macros too, to make them efficient to run. So I'm saying screen updating is equal to false. If it's true, it will hinder your performance. And then I will be saying application dot, then I will saying calculation. This thing is equal to Excel calculation manual. So if you opt this option, it will allow your macro to run more efficiently. And now I will start writing my macro. Again, I will need to define few more variables. So I will be saying dim policy data, which will be my variable. But this time I will be defining it as a variant. So variant is a data type, is actually a data type which can be anything when you assign some value array to this policy data variable. So I will be saying variant, you can see, and then I will be saying comma prices also as variant. Again, this variant data type is very important, and also make your life very easy, because we are defining the variable, but we are saying that their data type can be anything. It can be string, it can be numeric, and it can be single digit, it can be an array, it can be a two-dimensional array. Depends on what kind of object you assign to this this variable. And then I will say again the final, which is the result, as variant 2. And now what I will be doing is that before going further, I will take you guys back to my Excel sheet. So in the Excel, what I have done is already that I have given some ranges, some names. So suppose C3 to C22, if I've selected those cells, you can see here it's appearing unit prices. So I have given them name as unit price. So you can simply select the range of cells and you can give whatever name you want to give in this box. In the same way, I have given in policy data, if I go from row 2 to here, if I select this whole cells, you can see this whole table is named as policy unit table. And now actually I will use these ranges, the name of the ranges, to assign values to my variables that I have created in macro. So the first variable is the price. Price is equal to, and now I will be saying range, and I will say comma, and then the first is unit underscore prices. Here, and then I will be saying policy data is equal to range, again inverted commas, and then I will be saying policy. Make sure that you have write down the right range name, unit underscore table. If you so another way to quickly know that what are the range names you have in your Excel is to go back to your I think in formula. So under the formula tab, you can say here you have name manager. If you click it, you can easily know what are the names you have, range names you have given. So as you can see, I have 3 range names, and I will be using those range names in my computation too. So this is, I'm just giving you, letting you know that if you want to know how many range names do you have in your workbook, you can easily come to know through this. Under the formula tab, there is option name manager. If I go back, now what I will be doing is that, okay, after defining this thing, here you can see that I have a result variable. I can easily redefine it too. So suppose if I say because on these tables I can also give the dimension to my results variable. So I'll be saying redimension results is equal to, I was saying 1, 2, and saying upper bound of, so upper bound based on the rows which will be coming through policy data. So you can copy it from here. Policy data, then comma, then I need, because for the results, if you can see, I have only one column, so I will be saying 1, 2, 1. To finish this right here, yes. Before going further, I will just test run it, so in order to come to know that everything is running fine. Yes, everything is running fine. Now the important thing to start is that now I will need to create a loop, actually 2 loops, in order to compute the values to make the multiplication. So for that I will be using the first loop for R. R means that it will be based on R is equal to 1. R means that it will be handling the multiplication row wise, and this variable will be used. But again, as I have used explicit option, I can't use for R directly. So first I have to define R. So I will say dim R as long, and then also C as long. And now I will start writing down my loop. So for R is equal to 1, 2. Again, the number of rows will be coming through the number of rows in the policy data, which is about 100,000. So this is an easy way. Instead of writing down 100,000, you can use this U-bound option. And then I will be saying now I will be entering, and now I will be adding my second loop, which will be for C is equal to 1, 2. Again, the number of times it have to be run, it based on U-bound, which I will be getting from up above. But important thing to note here is that I don't want to run it 100,000 times. Actually, I just want to run it by 20 times based on the number of columns. So in order to define the columns, you have to, after comma, you have to define 2. And now it will be run by 20 times. And now I will make my computational line. So I will be saying results R comma C is equal to, again, results R comma C. So first, whenever the first time it will come, the R comma C will be empty, and then I will be adding the multiplication, which will be policy data, and then I will be saying R comma C into prices, and then I'll be saying, because prices have only one column, so I'll be saying C minus, so actually C will not be 1 because the I will let you know why C will not be 1. Actually, we have to write down C is equal to 2, and then I will be saying C minus 1 comma 1 because prices have only one column. Why I am doing C minus 1? Because if you guys remember that our first column is in Excel, so here it's not starting from the first row. That's why we are doing C minus 1 here. And then now what I will do, I will be saying next and next to finish the second loop too. And now let's see if I rerun this loop in order to check that the loop is working fine or not. I got an error. Actually, I got an error and it's not a big. So here, if you see that I'm saying R comma C, actually results have 100,000 rows but only one column. So instead of C, I will be defining 1. So now if I see, so my code is running fine. I will go back now. And now what I will need to do is that I have to go back to policy data, and here whatever computation I have done, I have to print down here. So in order to do that, what I will do, I will go back and start writing. So here what I will be saying is that, so my policy values range are starting from W2. So I will be saying range W2 to, this range must be equal to the range of the result, otherwise we will get an error which will be W100,001 is equal to, then I will be saying results, which is the object that I have created or the variable. So let's see if I do this. Hopefully it will not give me an error. Okay, and you can see that we have the values under the policy values now. So before ending this video, what I will do quickly, I will create another macro which will allow us to clear, if you want to clear this policy value, how you can clear it. So I will be saying, again, I will be creating a public sub. The public means that you can call this sub in any other module too. And I will say, suppose I will be saying del, just randomly giving it a name, and then I will be saying application dot range. The range here, if I go select the policy values from W2 to W100,101, so you can see that I have given this range names as policy value. So I will just simply copy it and I'll be printing it here, and then I will be saying dot clear content. And then ends up. So let's say if I run this, so let me check. So again, the error is not something because the error is just coming because I'm saying content, you just need to write clear. So now let's see if I rerun it. You can see if I go back to sheet, you can see the policy values got clear. Now the last thing what I will do, I have created two buttons here, and I would like to assign my macros to these two buttons so that it becomes easy to run the macro. So I will say assign macro. The first macro is this. Okay, so one answer, you can click here to calculate the policy value. So once I rerun it, you can see it's computing the policy value. The other button that I have already created is click here to clear the policy values. Right click here, assign macro, and this is the macro which is deleting or clearing the policy values value. Okay, and now let's see if I do it, you can delete it. So in this video we have covered several important things. First thing that we have covered, that how you can do table multiplication or with the help of VBA. And this is a very important video because you will be using this kind of calculation several times with the help of VBA. The other thing we have also discussed that what's the difference between simple sub and the public sub. The public sub you can use in other modules that you have in your workbook too. You can easily call those subs in other modules too. And then we also touched that if you want to know that how much your runtime, your macro is time is taking, how you can do that. I've told you guys that you can use a timer syntax in VBA to calculate the time that your code is taking to run. So thank you for watching the video.